Hello and welcome again to another installment of DC808 on the Wire. As always, Chad Blair here in the newsroom in Kaimuki, speaking once again with our good friend and DC Bureau Chief, Kerry Murakami. Aloha, Kerry.
Aloha, Chad. How are you? How's the fog out there?
The fog is pretty bad. I appreciate you asking. We're hoping the trade winds pick up and blow that stuff out of here. So it was a pretty big week for Hawaii in a lot of ways in Washington. Senator Hirono was able to get an amendment approved to the immigration bill. Tulsi Gabbard was able to get a bill passed, her first, regarding veterans and the TSA. And Colleen Hanabusa had a couple of budgetary items move out of House Armed Services Committee. Is there a sense that Hawaii's delegation, as young and new to Washington as it is having some real success there?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting things done. Nothing they've gotten done lately is particularly major, but as you mentioned, they're getting some money for defense for Hawaii, and the Filipino veterans has been a big issue for the state. Part of it is the committees that these guys got on. Hirono is on the Senate Judiciary Committee, which is the committee that dealt with immigration reform. So she was perfectly positioned to have an input in the immigration debate.
And then Colleen Hanabusa, of course, on armed services. So the D.C. scandals continue, Benghazi, the IRS business, the Justice Department and the AP. We tend to think out here in the islands that we're very far removed from Washington, 5,000 miles away. But in fact, one of those scandals has touched us directly. Isn't that correct?
That's right, Chad. It came out that one of the groups that the IRS was targeting was our very own Maui Tea Party. And the head of that organization, Bill Doyle, was asked by the Republicans to come talk about his story, and he was here last week. He was here talking, meeting with staff and meeting with members of Congress, kind of put a human face on this whole issue.
Final thing I want to talk to you about, this news just breaking, the U.S. Navy has named a destroyer after Senator Dan Inouye. Of course, the great man passed away in December. We got a press release from Colleen Hanabusa first, and I'm going to read to you a sentence from that statement. Quote, the Secretary of Navy informed me that he tried to name a ship after Senator while he was still alive, and knowing Senator, he wanted no part of it, end quote. Now that sounds very much like Dan Inouye, very humble despite all of his great accomplishments. But I was struck by a couple things. One, how Colleen Hanabusa keeps connecting herself with Dan Inouye, as you know, running for the U.S. Senate against Brian Schatz next year. The other thing that caught my eye was that Colleen Hanabusa always calls Senator Inouye Senator, never the Senator or rarely Senator Inouye. It's always Senator. Senator said this, Senator said that. Is that something that you've noticed as well?
It is. She does tend to do that. The other funny thing about that press release, though, was that moments after she sent it, Senator Schatz sent on his own press release saying that, not only was Representative Hanabusa informed, but so was he and so was the entire delegation, and they all praised the decisions. But Chad, you've been in Hawaii a lot longer than I have. What's up with the senator versus the senator?
It is something that I've noticed with other people here. It's not just limited to Democrats or Colleen Hanabusa. Governor Lingle, for example, the former Republican governor here, and her administration when she was governor always called her governor. Governor says, according to governor, never Governor Lingle says or the governor, and they continue that pattern even after she left office when she was running for the Senate last year against Mazie Hirono. So it seems to be a bit of a Hawaii thing, a senator, governor, dropping the article. Well, Kerry, as always, it's great to talk to you and get caught up about what's going on there in D.C. And have a safe Memorial weekend, and we'll look forward to talking to you next week.
Definitely, Chad.
And it's another DC808 on the Wire. As always, Chad Blair here in Honolulu, in Kaimuki, wishing you a safe aloha. Take care.